The only time you are in control is when you realize that you're not in control. I'm not sure how many times you heard that statement or if you ever heard that statement, but on this channel, I have said that multiple times in different situations across multiple videos. And why is it difficult? And why do I say that? Because, sometimes, you know, we try to control the situations, the circumstances. We win sometimes and oftentimes we fail. So because control is such a complex topic, it's very hard to explain this. And that is why, we just kind of surrender and say, okay, fine, and I'm only in control when I know for sure that I'm not in control because I can't control everything. Well, the truth of this matter is we do control a lot of things. And on this video, I'm going to kind of break down this paradox of control. And hopefully this should be helpful. If you find it helpful towards the end, then do me a favor, click the like button so I can reach some more people. And if you do choose to subscribe, then I'm in front of you every day. And this channel is about self-improvement and psychology. And we do many topics, we pick up many topics, we talk about them. And I come here without any filters, without any props. And my idea is to come and have an incredible conversation with you. Most of the video ideas are from the day, so I wait till the evening to record, and sometimes I'm so late recording that I lose the sunlight. So today is an exception, but still cloudy, so I'm going to be very quick on this. And my idea is to kind of not only share some of my personal observations when it comes to this topic of control, but also to motivate you and inspire you to go take action and if possible come back and report. Okay, so let's get into this. So why control is hard? Because it's a paradox. It's hard. It's difficult to compartmentalize and see what areas we have control, what areas we do not have control, and how should we know that we have control, and if at all we have control, should we display that, or should we stay, sometimes people show this overt force, and they want to drive a specific outcome, but then all that's needed is some subtle influence, and it's very difficult for them to apply subtle influence because they're so used to force. It's a complex topic, hence that's why we call it the paradox. The control is a paradox. That's why I said that at the beginning of the video. So let's get into this. How do we define this? Well, the definition part is there are only three parts to this. So control is influence over self, over others, and over circumstances. When you have control over your own self, that means it's internal control. When you have control on circumstances and others, then that's external control. Now, as far as the internal control is concerned, we have thoughts on which we have control on. To a large extent, we have control on our emotions and the way we respond. We do have control on the choices we make, such as habits, routines, and as well as values that we choose to live by and we choose not to live by. We also control, to a large extent, we have the control on how to process our past and also how to process our future. We have control. We also do control our preparation. We control our effort and certainly not the outcomes. So when it comes to internal control, these are the areas we do have control. And as far as the external control goes, we have people and their opinions, which we cannot control. We have people's reactions and the decisions we cannot control. You can't control how your boss is going to decide on the outcome of a project that you're working in, or how your company is going to make decisions when it comes to the overall functioning of the company. and all that, the markets, the economy, weather, accidents, nothing we have control on. And a little bit earlier, I was saying we can control the way, or we can choose to control how we process the past and how we process the future. But for sure, we do not have any control on the future uncertainties, and also the past. What was the past? Things did not go well the way you expected them to, but there's no control. There's nothing much you can do, good or bad. You can't go back and control anything. So technically, you don't have any control on the outcomes of the past and the future outcomes, but you do have the control how you process them. So if that separation is not clear in the mind, then now we are dealing with a situation where you'll be opening yourself up to stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and all different kinds of psychosomatic disorders, which can be avoided with a little bit of thinking, if possible. Okay. How do you know that if you have control or not? It's a question that I've been asked multiple times. The answer to that is again a question, which is that can I change the outcome of whatever is going on with my own action right now? Can I change what's happening? Can I change the outcome of whatever is going on with my own action in the moment or right now? If the answer is yes, you are in control. If the answer is no, then certainly you're not in control, but the chances are you may at best have some influence. That's all there is to it. Okay. Now, quite frequently in our mind, we do become victims of false control. And every time you hear somebody blaming someone, somebody showing frustration, sometimes showing obsession, micromanagement, all these are false controls. Got to be very careful with them. And when people say that, or people experience, when you experience that, it's false control going on. When you are in a position when you are applying these things, then certainly you ought to be very careful. And the reason why I say that is because everybody watches this channel. They are somewhere you are watching this video because you're interested in self-improvement. Very simple. So you are a student of self-improvement. That's what I'm thinking. So you need to be a little bit more self-aware as compared to other people, because you appreciate self-improvement. You are spending time on it. So you need to make that separation very clearly and be careful. If you're blaming someone, hey, why am I blaming someone? I shouldn't be. Am I exerting false control? The answer is yes. There is a clarity question that I have suggested people to ask, which is, if I stop acting right now, does it still change? That's a clarity question in any situation. There are the situations where you have to hide your control, and places are relationships, clearly. Then you have certain leadership situations where you have to hide the fact that you have control. And if you don't, especially in these two situations, relationships and leadership situations, if you don't hide your controls, then the chances are you'll end up either creating resistance, or you'll end up stepping on other people's egos, and there'll be ego clashes, and also you don't want to be there. Okay. Overall, too much control is proven to reduce leverage, and leverage is something that you cannot lose, specifically when it comes to negotiations. And subtle influence is always it always works as compared to overt force. So you got to be like measuring the moves, and this is the reason why it's so expensive to stay on top of all these things mentally. It drains so much energy that people choose, I don't understand all this, so I better not go there. And that's why they say that, I'm not in control, so why should I deal with it? That said, those are the places where you should not show, and you be careful how you show it. But there are places where you do have to show control. And one specific example is when there is a crisis going on. When leadership is expected, you got to get in there. You got to, people need decisiveness. They're not able to decide. You step in there and you have to show authority. So hence, you have to show control. You got to be in control to show authority and leadership at a time when people are in crisis and they need help. Okay. There are places where you have to set some boundaries, and there are places where you need to set standards. You got to be teaching in some places. You got to be leading by example in some places. So those are the areas where you show control. Okay. And in all these places, the control has to be displayed in a calm manner. There shouldn't be any aggressiveness involved. Okay. There is more to this, but you get the idea of what is involved with this. And I'm just giving you control is there's a lot of research, lot of studies that have gone into this. And as the societies are evolving, the social structures are evolving, so does the definitions of different types of controls are evolving. Whatever we knew 30, 40 years ago is not true anymore. Specifically in the last 20 years, a lot has changed. The social media has come in. So this is an evolving topic. It sounds dated when I use the word control and influence, but the patterns and the way these things are evolving is very interesting, and also has a lot of study that if you choose to do, you should and you can, and there's a lot going on in the space. That's the point. So all I did here is just kind of give you an overall view of this. I'm hoping this was helpful. If it is, do me a favor, drop me a comment, let me know. I would take your comment any day, whether you subscribe or you like the video. A comment is very powerful because that allows me to communicate with you. Okay, that's all for now. Wherever you are, you be safe, and I'll be with you as early as tomorrow. Take care. Bye now.